What's going on, hustlers? Welcome back into the channel. Today we are going to be diving into a little bit of a different topic than the usual market coverage or crypto gaming coverage, as I want to talk about, I've been in builders mode quite a bit. There hasn't been much content obviously here on the Hustlepedia channel since before we launched my NFT project here, this thing of ours, the NFT Gaming Collective. So I want to dive into exactly how we sold out this collection in a bear market by bringing unseen utility, cash flow mechanisms, and how a couple other projects also contributed to a complete meta shift, which I think is beautiful to see inside of the NFT market. So we'll get into all of that in this video. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. If you're new to the channel, like the video and subscribe to the channel down below. I will be coming out with a lot more content here on the Hustlepedia channel, and it will be a broad spectrum of coverage between investment stuff, builder stuff, all that good stuff. So I'm really wanting to get into every bit of the industry as far as how to successfully be not only an investor in this market, but also a successful founder in this market. So I want to dive into exactly how we went about navigating this, forward, and how we took a concept to reality and how we're bringing cash flow and actual utility to the NFT market. So when you looked at what was going on in the NFT market, and you can go back, I will try to link the video somewhere in here. I'm not the best at this type of stuff, but I will try to link the video up here somewhere where you can go check out the video where I covered the state of the NFT market. And there was free mints, Goblin Town. Recently, there was one, Vitalik pumps, due to the freaking Vitalik meme that was going around obviously last week. I don't even have to talk about that. Everyone saw that on their feed. But there was such a craze for these free mints in the space, but there was one underlying factor, is that none of them had any utility whatsoever. None of them gave back to the community. None of them were holder friendly. None of them had any incentive for anyone to be bought into the project long term. So whenever we're at the drawing board and we already have a niche down community, there was a private group for the Hustlepedia brand and the server that was already formed, and that ownership model of a Web 2 model of a private group really was obviously getting outdated. And being in the NFT world, what is the best form of verification of membership? NFT. It's on the blockchain. There's no way that's immutable. You cannot dispute that someone is a verified owner of something on the blockchain. So that is the best form of membership. We brought that network, that private group, over to the Web3 side of things with this thing of ours, the NFT Gaming Collective. And what we did is we cultivated that community and onboarded more NFT gaming enthusiasts, investors, gamers, as well as developers and builders. And what was a beautiful part of this time period was, during all this garbage, during everything that was happening with the Goblin Towns, with all these garbage projects, we were just in the works building out this utility, and with it being a community-owned project where the treasury will be actively deploying into NFT gaming assets over time, allowing holders not only the access to play on the land in the games, so it lowers the barrier of entry to gaming assets. It also gives them a potential exposure mechanism to those assets in the future as the treasury grows, as it is a community-owned project, as over 50% of every dollar that ever goes into the project will go back to the project. So that is one thing we'll always pride ourselves on, is this is a pure NFT gaming community-owned collective, and everything that we do as a treasury, as a community, will be dictated by the core community that we have, which is driven solely in the NFT gaming market. And we were able to cultivate this avenue in this type of a climate with obviously the time and not so much hecticness going on in the NFT markets. And we had a very niche down sector. So when you look at our Twitter following, there's not a lot of, when you look at 4,000 followers, I know a lot of people said, Hustle, you're not going to sell out that collection at 4,000 Twitter followers. And I said, okay, Twitter followers aren't everything, but I understand, right? So there was a lot of outside looking in this type of a market we had a paid mint, right? Our mint was 250 USDC during free mint season. A lot of people, sometimes whenever they see a paid mint, they think that's a little too expensive. We sold out our public sale in about 5 minutes. So whenever it looked at the demand that we created, it was definitely there. And what was that tangible hook? How were we bringing that actual value, right? With that exposure mechanism, with the treasury, they're not only getting access to that, but they're getting actually entry-level access to everything that I'm doing as far as my in-depth research, games that I'm looking at, my portfolio overview. They kind of get a mechanism and a scope of kind of what I'm doing and what I'm looking at inside of the markets, and it gives them that first access point and actually kind of a really, I would say, insider look between the connections that I have, the people that I talk to in the industry. Obviously, over on Crypto Banter, I've recently interviewed Ryan Wyatt, Robbie Ferguson over there from Immutable. We've talked to so many people. Obviously, I've talked to Jordan. I've talked to numerous projects and CEOs in the space. And I would just say the sentiment between them all is NFT gaming. And what we're building here in this time period of the market, we cultivated with those minds and those partners and brought in niched gaming communities in a time period where crypto gaming is way down, right? So we cultivated this type of a community in a time period where crypto gaming is at an all-time low, right? I mean, Axie Infinity is just getting crushed. Steppen was a Ponzi, Pegaxie, Krabata, all Ponzi-nomics, right? At the end of the day, when you look at the grand scheme of things, the way the tokenomics shook out, the sentiment on crypto gaming can't be lower. We cultivated that from the ground up in that type of a climate through those mechanisms of actual value-driven information, super niche down, insider-driven information from the crypto gaming industry and the future of the metaverse landscape, which is a multi-decade opportunity. So that was number one. Number two is the networking opportunity with the other project CEOs inside of the server. And, that's not even a flaunt. As you see on the right side here, we have Calvin from Shrapnel. We have Collider Craftworks. We have guys from Spectre. We have My Pet Hooligan. We have Arcade. We have Dr. JPEG in here. There's so many different consigliaries here inside of this server. And those are, some of our consigliaires. They are partners in our project. We're partnered up with Shrapnel, My Pet Hooligan. If we go over to our website, you will see our full list of partners. Shrapnel, My Pet Hooligan, NF Arcade, Phantasma, Clementine's Nightmare, WAGMI Defense, Opus Labs. So we're doing all these partnerships and actually collaborating, interworking with these projects. So if you've seen the My Pet Hooligan game, our holders don't have to hold a hoolie to play the game. Typically, you have to hold a hooligan to play My Pet Hooligan. If you hold this thing of ours, Access Pass, you're able to go right inside of My Pet Hooligan's game. It gives you a nice, clean, this thing of ours hoodie, and you're actually able to play the game. There will be things across this entire ecosystem. All of our partnerships will have core utility. Another project that brought core utility to the market around the same time was Steady Stack. My good friends Ready Player H and Zan over at Steady Stack with the algorithm, with the information, what Bo's delivering over there. From the market's perspective and everything under that umbrella. I would say what Steady Stack did, what Tykes did with Ryan Pineda's project, and what we did with this thing of ours is we brought real utility. Tykes with the real estate, Steady Stack with the investor Illuminati, and then here with the crypto gaming hub, the crypto gaming mafia inside of this thing of ours, where all of our partners think custom skins, right? Think access to games, think early investment opportunities, whitelist opportunities, private AMA sessions inside of the server that you will never hear outside of the server, purely exclusive for our holders, unfiltered conversations and crypto gaming reports straight from the source, as well as an overview of everything that I'm doing in the market. And then you tap in with the community-owned treasury. These are the key tactics, and not only tactics, the key things that we deployed inside of this collection in a market that was lacking utility from the top to bottom, right? This market was absolutely decimated. People were looking at these monkey NFTs depreciating in value thinking, what the hell am I doing with my life, right? Their wives wanted to kill them. To just be real, right? As Becker always talks about, the ADA holder, the ape holder who could have sold the top, they've really rode down quite a bit. Their wife might not be too happy now that they're just flaunting a profile picture that they didn't take profits on and still haven't taken profits on. Just an example. I love the ape ecosystem, but this is just an example of something that's lost value over time. So when you look at something like that, this is actually utility driven, that is more of a mastermind. It's more of an access pass to information driven straight from the source inside of the industry, that are coming from the top level, from the top minds that I am talking to and spreading down. We have team members from Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Like I said, you saw our advisors top to bottom. I'm loving everything so far from bringing this business to a Web 2 to a Web 3 model. So now that's the last thing I want to hit on. So we've talked about kind of the key things that we saw in the market and we wanted to bring to the market. These alpha groups, first and foremost, they suck, right? Alpha groups suck. So what we wanted to change the narrative of is consistent information, no bullshit information that you can expect every single Sunday. There's 52 gaming reports every single year if you're a holder of this thing of ours. On top of that, all the information that I am sharing on top with the portfolio, etc. So you're getting so much value from just that perspective. So from an alpha group perspective, all these other alpha groups that are hit or miss, that are just profit driven, this is all if you are soaking this in like a sponge, you will just become a complete better investor inside of the industry, right? And then on top of that, you still get to see my moves inside of the market. So it's a win-win. I am just trying to provide that straight line level of research and education to give my holders and my community the tools to succeed in the next crypto gaming bull run, when Apple comes around, Microsoft comes around, etc., and absolutely crushes this space with their metaverse announcements, because that will happen. So first and foremost, we wanted to shift that narrative. We wanted to be a project that put their treasury to work for the community. Most people just cash grab, or they take every single dollar out of the project and never use it for the project, or they just throw these lavish parties and events at NFT NYC or whatever and blow the treasury on that. So we didn't want to do that. We want to do a community-owned treasury where most of it's going to be distributed towards assets that they can use and benefit off of potentially. So that was another narrative that we wanted to shift. And then bringing it from Web 2 to Web 3, it was interesting, right? In the NFT space, people are such short attention spans, right? I liken it to a school of fish. And this is just all of the blockchain. What's the narrative? What's the narrative, right? The ETH merge, this, that. And that's happening at this very moment. We're seeing the ETH merge right now occurring, right? So people are like, they swim like fishes to narratives, etc. So from a Web 2 standpoint, it's a very consistent, people are there, people are consistent. It's a model, it's proven, the attention stays there. It's a different type of attention span, but in a Web3 NFT model, definitely the attention span of the consumer as a founder, as a builder, as an entrepreneur is much shorter when you're looking at the like community, right? The community attention span is definitely a lot shorter as far as narrative, right? Because it's crypto, it's NFTs. There's so much FOMO driven into it. So that was something that I learned from that whole experience was, don't worry about the shift in attention spans so much, because that is going to fluctuate inside of the space whenever you look at how narrative driven it is. So now we're just focused on delivering the highest level utility inside of the NFT gaming industry that we can. And I think we're doing a fantastic job. Obviously, if you just click on what is the floor right now, it's 2.5 or 3x about above the floor. And then if you go to the rares, and these are a lot of the OG members of the private community, the rare floor is 1.55 ETH. So that is fantastic to see, especially in these type of climates. Shout out to Steady Stack, shout out to Tykes. I just wanted to make this video on kind of some things that I saw missing in the market. Like I recapped, the flaw in alpha groups, the flaw in projects just cash grabbing, not giving back to their holders in any sort of way other than these dumb airdrops that they do, or merch drops that end up looking horrible. There's just so many things that go wrong on that side, and I just want to fix those things and bring community-driven, actual high-level information to the sector. So when the next NFT gaming bull run comes around, you, at this thing of ours holder or a community member, will be a big benefactor of that next run, and you will be equipped to take advantage when the big institutions get involved. So if you got value out of this video as a potential NFT Web3 founder, entrepreneur, or if you learned something new in this video, be sure to drop a like and comment down below your thoughts on the collection so far, if you are a holder, as well as things that you are seeing in the NFT market with Steady Stack, Tykes, this thing of ours, etc., that really have changed the narrative, because I've kind of been seeing in the market, everyone's kind of shifting towards utility, and it's good to see quality projects and quality founders bringing that aspect to the market. And then other projects which have great utility, like Spectre, like Opus Labs, which Spectre's already minted, and they're starting to get a lot more traction because the utility narrative's picking up. Everyone switched from good projects to garbage. Now we're seeing good projects pick up traction again. We have Opus Labs coming up. We have NF Arcade coming up. So super bullish on utility-driven projects. Looking forward to the future of what the floor has been set now, right? Because all of our projects are offering different levels of benefits. Obviously, shout out to Eman Gadji with Gents Croquet Club. It's like a lifestyle type of a mastermind community, very utility driven. So I love the narrative shift we're seeing. Leave your comments down below and your thoughts on the NFT market and where we're going with utility in the NFT space. Interested to hear your thoughts. I'll see you on the next video later this week. See you guys later.